My fiancé said, "Maybe he is my destiny," I replied. "Then don't let me stand in fate's way." After 5 years together, she expected me to wait while she chased a sign from the universe. I canceled the wedding, packed her dress, and her destiny disappeared by Friday. Original post: I'm Grant, 34, male. I live in Denver, Colorado, and until 10 weeks ago, I was supposed to marry Sienna. Sienna was 30. She worked as a social media manager for a boutique travel company. We had been together for 5 years, engaged for 9 months, and living together in my condo near Sloan's Lake for almost 2. The condo was mine. I bought it before we met. Her name was not on the mortgage, but her fingerprints were everywhere. The sage green kitchen towels, the candles that smelled like expensive forests, the framed engagement photo in the hallway, the wedding vision board on the fridge. Wedding date was set for October 18th. Venue deposit paid, photographer deposit paid, florist deposit paid, catering tasting scheduled. My mother had already bought her dress. My dad had already practiced a speech he pretended he had not written. I thought we were moving toward a life. Then Sienna started talking about destiny, not in a cute way. Not like, "Oh, we were meant to meet." More like, what if the universe sends people into your life for a reason? The person the universe sent was Nalan, 32. Yoga instructor, part-time musician, full-time problem. She met him during a brand retreat her company hosted in Boulder. He taught a sunrise breathwork session. She came home talking about energy alignment, soul timing, and how some people feel familiar even when you just met them. I laughed the first time. I stopped laughing when she started hiding her phone. For 3 weeks, everything changed. She took longer walks. She smiled at messages and turned the screen away. She stopped talking about seating charts. She said my practical approach to life sometimes made her feel spiritually boxed in. I asked her directly one night while we were folding laundry, "Are you talking to Nalan?" She froze with one of my T-shirts in her hands. Then she said, "Not like that." That meant yes. I asked, "What does not like that mean?" She sat on the bed and gave me the soft voice, the one people use when they have already decided to hurt you but want credit for sounding gentle. She said Nalan understood a side of her she had buried. He believed everything happened for a reason. He made her feel open, alive, chosen by something bigger. I said, "And what do I make you feel?" She looked at the floor. "Safe." One word. 5 years reduced to a smoke detector. I nodded. "Safe is terrible, apparently." She said, "Grant, don't twist this." I said, "I'm listening." Then she said it. "Maybe he is my destiny." I stared at her. She actually looked relieved after saying it, like the sentence had been trapped inside her and now I was supposed to help carry it. I said, "Then don't let me stand in fate's way." Her head snapped up. "What does that mean?" "It means the wedding is off." She stood. "Grant, no, I'm confused. I didn't say I'm leaving you." I said, "You said another man might be your destiny. I'm not marrying someone who is waiting for the universe to choose between me and a yoga instructor." She started crying. She said I was being cold, reactive, punitive. She said she needed space to understand her heart. I said, "Take space. Take all of it. But not as my fiancé." Then I took off my ring. Not dramatic, no throwing, no speech. I placed it on the dresser beside the laundry basket. That was when she panicked. She said, "You're really ending an engagement over one conversation." I said, "No. I'm ending it over 3 weeks of lies and one honest sentence." She called her best friend, Whitney, from the bathroom. I heard the words controlling, emotionally unavailable, and he canceled the wedding because I had feelings. I waited. When she came out, I said, "You can sleep in the guest room tonight. Tomorrow we'll discuss moving your things." She said, "This is my home too." I said it was our home because we were building a future. "You just told me your future might be Nalan." She slept at Whitney's. I did not sleep. I sat at the kitchen table and made a list. Venue cancellation, photographer, florist, caterer, DJ, engagement party refunds, guest notifications, shared registry, honeymoon hotel. Money first, feelings later. That sounds cold. It wasn't. It was survival. By morning, I had canceled the venue, lost the $3,000 deposit. Photographer kept $900. Florist kept $450. Honeymoon hotel charged $600. Total immediate loss, $49.50. Cheaper than marrying someone who called another man destiny. At 1012 a.m., Sienna texted, "I can't believe you're making this so final," I replied. "You made it final when you invited fate into our engagement." Then I blocked her for the workday. Update 1: 5 days later, the first wave was emotional. The second wave was logistical. The third wave was insane. By day 2, Whitney texted me from a number I did not have saved. "You are punishing her for being honest. Real love allows uncertainty." I replied, "Real love does not keep a wedding date while auditioning destiny." She sent 3 paragraphs. I did not read them. Then Sienna's brother, Austin, called. Austin and I had always gotten along. Football, grilling, occasional beer. He sounded embarrassed before he even spoke. "Man, I don't know what happened, but she's saying you canceled everything without letting her breathe." I said, "Did she mention Nalan?" Silence. Then he said, "Who is Nalan exactly?" I sent him one screenshot. Sienna's message from the night before. "I don't know why Nalan feels like something the universe put in my path." Austin replied 10 minutes later, "That is different from what she said." Of course it was. People like Sienna don't lie all at once. They curate. That same afternoon, she came to the condo while I was at work. The Ring camera caught her using her key. I had not changed the lock yet because part of me still thought we were adults. Mistake. She went inside for 22 minutes. She took some clothes, her laptop, the framed engagement photo, and weirdly, the copper kettle my sister bought me for Christmas. She left the wedding binder open on the kitchen counter. On the seating chart page, she had written in red pen, "You gave up on us." I watched the footage during lunch. Then I called a locksmith, $185. Then I called a lawyer. Her name was Monica. Consultation fee, $300. She told me to document everything and not dispose of any belongings. Since Sienna lived there, I needed to give reasonable access to collect property, but I did not need to let her wander in and perform theater with office supplies. So I boxed her things. Carefully. Clothes in suitcases, shoes in clear bins, books in 2 banker boxes. Skincare wrapped in towels, wedding items separated. Her dress was still at the bridal shop, half paid. I called them and removed my card from the file. That caused the next explosion. Sienna called from Whitney's phone. "You canceled payment on my dress." I said, "I canceled payment on a wedding that no longer exists." She said, "That dress is mine." I said, "Then pay the remaining $1,800. She called me disgusting. I said, "Email only from now on." The next morning, she posted on Instagram, "Sometimes the person you thought was your future becomes the lesson that redirects you to your destiny." Black background, white cursive. Very brave. 2 hours later, Nalan commented a single sparkle emoji. That was all I needed. I screenshotted it and sent it to the folder. Yes, there was a folder now. Ring clips, texts, emails, vendor invoices, cancellation fees, screenshots, lawyer notes, photos of every packed box, a destiny folder. Ridiculous name. Useful folder. On day 5, Sienna's mother, Claire, called. I expected screaming. Claire was a high school counselor, calm voice, sharp memory. She had always been kind to me. She said, "Grant, I am asking one question before I decide what to say next. Did my daughter tell you another man might be her destiny?" I said yes. Long silence. Then Claire said, "Oh, Sienna." Not "Oh, Grant, oh, Sienna, that told me enough." She said, "I'm sorry. She told us you became jealous over a friendship." I said, "I wish that were true." Claire said, "Send me nothing. I believe you." That almost broke me, because I did not want to win her family. I wanted my life back from the version of Sienna who had not become a stranger with astrology vocabulary. That night, I packed the rest of the boxes and placed them in a storage unit in Lakewood. First month, $126. I emailed Sienna the address, gate code, unit number, lock code, and inventory list. Her reply came at 103 a.m. "You put our life in storage like it meant nothing." I stared at that sentence for a while, then I whispered to an empty kitchen, "No, you did." Update 2: 3 weeks later, Nalan lasted 11 days. 11. I know because on day 12, Sienna emailed me at 6:40 in the morning. Subject, I need to talk to you. The email was a masterpiece of soft accountability without actual accountability. She said Nalan was not who she thought he was. She said he confused spiritual connection with attention. She said the universe had shown her that what we had was real. She said sometimes destiny tests people before bringing them back together. I read that sentence 3 times. Destiny tests people. Apparently destiny had a return policy. I forwarded the email to Monica. Monica replied, "Do not respond emotionally. Preferably do not respond at all," so I did not. Then Sienna escalated. She came to my office downtown. Reception messaged me on Teams. "There is a woman here saying she is your fiancée." I typed back, "Ex-fiancée. Please ask security to stay nearby." I walked to the lobby with my manager, Priya. Priya is 5'2", terrifyingly organized, and has the facial expression of someone who once fired a printer for jamming. Sienna stood there holding a small white box, cupcakes, from the bakery we were going to use for the wedding. That was not accidental. That was emotional staging. She smiled when she saw me, then looked at Priya like Priya was an extra in our scene. "Grant, can we please talk for 5 minutes?" I said no. Her smile cracked. She said, "I made a mistake." I said, "I know." She said, "Then why are you acting like this?" I said, "Because knowing you made a mistake does not require me to become the cleanup crew." Priya coughed. Not a real cough. A supportive corporate cough. Sienna's eyes filled with tears. She placed the cupcake box on the reception desk and said, "I guess 5 years means nothing to you." I said, 5 years meant enough for me not to marry a lie." Security escorted her out after she refused to leave the first time. That afternoon, Whitney emailed me. "You humiliated her in public. She came with love and you treated her like a criminal." I forwarded it to Monica. Monica sent a cease and desist letter the next day. Cost, $425. The letter instructed Sienna and third parties acting on her behalf not to contact me outside property-related email, not to appear at my home or workplace, not to post misleading accusations, and not to involve wedding vendors in personal pressure. That last part was necessary, because Sienna had called the photographer and told him I canceled because I had a mental health episode. The photographer, thankfully, had seen enough weddings to recognize chaos. He forwarded me the message and said, "Just keeping you informed." Good man. Then came the fake crisis. At 11:48 p.m. on a Thursday, Austin called. I answered because Austin had not been bothering me. He said, "Sienna says she is outside your building and feels like she might hurt herself if you don't talk to her." I stood up so fast my chair fell over. I checked the Ring camera. No Sienna. I checked the parking lot camera through the building app. No Sienna. I said, "Austin, where is she?" He said, "She told Whitney she was at your place." I said, "Call the police for a wellness check." Now. He went quiet. I said, "If she is in danger, she needs emergency help. If she is lying, she needs consequences." He said, "Okay." Police found her at Whitney's apartment, safe, crying, angry that I had made it official. Austin called me the next morning and apologized. He said, "I thought you were being harsh at first. I don't anymore." I said, "I'm sorry you got dragged into it." He said, "Yeah, me too." That was the last time Austin contacted me. 2 days later, Sienna posted a video of herself hiking alone near Red Rocks with the caption, "Some souls are too deep for people who only understand surface love." I did not watch it. Dana sent it to me. Dana is my friend from college, and her hobby is monitoring drama with the seriousness of air traffic control. I told Dana to stop sending updates unless there was a legal issue. She said, "Fair." Meanwhile, my life got strangely better. Not happy exactly, not yet, but cleaner. I started going to the gym before work. I canceled the couple's meal kit subscription and learned I actually like cooking when nobody critiques the onion size. I repainted the bedroom because Sienna had chosen a dusty lavender that always made the room feel like a boutique candle had exploded. At work, Priya put me in charge of a new client onboarding system. Bigger project, more visibility. She said, You handle pressure without panicking. I thought you should have seen me cancel a wedding before coffee, but I just said thanks. Then came Avery. Avery was not a grand romantic destiny moment. She was a friend of Dana's who joined us for trivia night at a brewery in Rye No. 32. Physical therapist. Funny. Direct. Wore a denim jacket with a tiny embroidered cactus on it. We talked about bad first dates and airport delays. At the end of the night, she said, "I'm not trying to step into anything messy, but when you're actually ready, I'd get coffee with you. No pressure. No universe. No signs, just an offer." I said, "I'd like that." For the first time in weeks, I drove home without feeling like the city was made of memories. Final update. 3 months later, the final chapter happened in small claims court. Because of course it did. Sienna filed for $9,700. Her claim included half the wedding cancellation losses, emotional distress, damaged reputation, the copper kettle, and future planning labor. Future planning labor. Monica stared at that phrase for 10 full seconds and said, "I need judges to get paid more. We prepared everything. Vendor contracts, payment records, proof most deposits came from my account, screenshots of her Nolan messages, her Instagram posts, the ring footage, the office security report, the wellness check incident, storage receipts, email records showing she had access to her belongings." The hearing was held on a Tuesday morning. Sienna arrived in a cream sweater, no makeup, hair pulled back, the innocent witness outfit. Whitney came with her, carrying a folder like she was legal counsel because she owned a printer. I wore a blue shirt, gray jacket, and the expression of a man who had finally learned that silence can be armor. The judge asked Sienna to explain. She said I abruptly canceled our wedding during an emotional conversation. She said she had been exploring confusing feelings but never cheated. She said I reacted with cruelty, removed her from her home, damaged her relationships with vendors, and turned her family against her. Then the judge asked, "Who is Nolan?" Sienna froze. Monica had included the relevant messages in the evidence packet. Sienna said he was a friend. The judge read aloud, "Maybe he is my destiny." Hearing it in that flat courtroom voice was surreal, not romantic, not spiritual, just embarrassing. The judge asked me if I had anything to say. I said, "Your Honor, I did not sue her for the deposits. I accepted the financial loss. I preserved her property, paid for storage, documented access, and requested no contact after repeated incidents at my home and workplace. I'm not asking her for money. I'm asking not to pay for consequences I did not create. That was it. No speech, no revenge, just facts." Monica handled the rest. Sienna's claim was dismissed. No damages awarded. The judge said wedding planning does not create entitlement to reimbursement when one party cancels due to a breakdown in the relationship, especially with documented cause. He also advised both parties to avoid contact. Sienna cried. Whitney glared at me like I had personally outlawed romance. Outside the courtroom, Sienna approached me near the vending machines. Monica stepped slightly between us. Sienna said, "Was this really our ending?" I said, "No. Our ending was in the bedroom when you said another man might be your destiny. This was paperwork." She looked down. Then she said, "I thought destiny meant something bigger than fear." I said, "Maybe it does, but I'm not afraid anymore." She whispered, "I miss safe." That sentence hit harder than I expected. Because once I would have opened the door for that. I would have heard pain and mistaken it for change. I would have let her loneliness dress itself as love. But not that day. I said, "I hope you find peace, Sienna," then I left. A month later, Claire mailed me a note, handwritten. Short, "Grant, I am sorry for how things unfolded. You were kind to our family. I hope the next season of your life is gentle. No drama. No guilt. Just grace." I kept that note. Not because I wanted Sienna back, because it reminded me that endings do not have to turn everyone into an enemy. The condo is mine again now. The lavender bedroom is gone. The wedding binder is shredded. The engagement photo is in a box in the closet, not because I am holding on, but because I am not pretending 5 years never happened. Avery and I did get coffee, then dinner, then a hike. No lightning, no universe whispering, no destiny speech, just two people walking at the same pace without one secretly looking for a different trail. We are taking it slowly, and I like slowly now. Sienna still posts occasionally. Dana slipped once and told me she is doing a Healing Era series. I told her kindly that I do not need weather reports from storms I already survived. Work is better. I got the client onboarding project delivered early and received a bonus of $4,200. Almost enough to cover the wedding losses. Priya said, "Not bad for a man spiritually boxed in." I laughed for real. That felt like progress. Here is what I learned. People love using destiny when they do not want accountability. Destiny sounds prettier than temptation, softer than betrayal, bigger than selfishness. If they can blame the universe, they do not have to admit they made choices one hidden message at a time. Maybe destiny is real. Maybe some people are meant to enter your life, but not everyone who enters is meant to stay. Some people are meant to teach you the cost of ignoring your own peace. Some are meant to show you how quickly love becomes a cage when you are the only one respecting it. Some are meant to break the future you planned so you can stop calling anxiety commitment. Sienna thought Nalan was her destiny. Maybe he was, not because he was her soulmate, because he revealed the truth before I married it. And maybe my destiny was not a wedding in October. Maybe it was a quiet condo, a clean bedroom, a dismissed court case, a better job, a woman with a cactus jacket, and the simple understanding that fate does not require you to stand still while someone else disrespects you. If destiny has to humiliate you to keep someone, it is not destiny. It is a warning, and for once I listened. If you've ever had someone use destiny or meant to be as an excuse to hurt you, comment below and tell me what you would have done. Please subscribe, like, and share this story, and let me know if you faced something similar or what your opinion is.